See, if you slide extend that retaining wall down to that point, and that area up on top adjacent to the sidewalk becomes that amenity area, I think that achieves the purpose of the regulation.
I was just going to chime in and say I really appreciate the continuation of the vertical element aspect of it, and then also, as has been said, thank you for the very detailed plans. That makes it way easier for us to be able to take a look at it.
I had one small thing too. I saw there's ash on the planting plan. Just beware of the emerald ash borer that will probably not make that last very long.
I think we can accommodate everything that you guys are. It all makes sense to me, so I don't think it would be a real tough deal to do any of that.
Is the bus shelter, kind of heard it two different ways. So is the bus shelter part of this project, or is it going to come later when the DOT?
No, it is. We are going to be required to do a bus shelter.
Would it then be relocated once the widening?
Yes, it would have to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yeah. So my only other thought would be, I like the rhythm of trees and stuff. Something hiding that parking along Falls of the Neuse. Just wondering, when that bus shelter is pushed back eventually, is there an amenity, something in addition to that bus shelter that kind of helps activate that bus shelter, maybe make it be used a little bit more? Maybe the trees do that. The people can be under the trees. And you get some nice tall canopy. It'd be a nice area to kind of sit and wait for a bus.
One thought I had is potentially having that bike service station out closer to that bus stop. That if somebody's riding from the neighborhood to to catch the bus to go to go in, maybe it becomes something that is a little more accessible to the public.
Yeah, I believe we have it about as close as you could get. I mean, we could swap it with the bike rack to get it closer, but then the bike rack would be further away. We're as close as we can get to that.
Okay.
And be continuation of the building. We could move it down closer to the bus stop if that's something that but I don't think that.
The way you have it, it's part of the amenity area that you
Right.
need.
I hear what you're saying.
That's appropriate. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, and mentioned earlier, I think it was that the amenity area is intended for the people of the property, so the people using the bank rather than people waiting for the bus stop. And I think it's in a logical location right off that sidewalk, so if I'm coming to the bank on my bike, that's where I'm going to expect to find it.
Yeah.
We are kind of informal, but I did not ask formally if there's nobody else, I imagine, from the general public out here that I see. If there is, they can stand forward, but okay.
So Charles, is this something that we can do in a condition, approved with conditions, or do we need to see, is that too hard for the reviewers?
It would be difficult, I think, with everything that you've said. That said, if you want to be very prescriptive in terms of conditions, you can. We don't have any way, right now to sort of put dimensions on any of the conditions you've placed. You could do that. Species are acceptable conditions. I think those are easily sort of understood by the reviewers, but it's up to you. Mm-hmm. It's going to be one of the more complicated condition situations that we've seen, but you could also request these things from the applicant, and we can follow up with them and then ask them to come back. It's up to you.
Great, thanks.
Can you tell us where you are in the process of through the city right now for this process?
Yeah.
Are we are we kind of last in line? Or are you still in the process of
We're in the process of moving from ASR to
We're at the tail end of ASR.
tail end of ASR, yeah.
Okay, so we have a little bit of time. So if there aren't any other questions, I suggest that we close this and just close it. We'll table it. We appreciate your presentation. Let's just talk internally and see what your thoughts are. I'm all in favor of kind of giving them good guidance, which I think we've done. Mm-hmm. Just re-going over that and holding this over for a month till our next meeting in the next month. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
Okay with that.
I'd love to see it come back, and
Yeah.
I think it should be pretty quick and easy.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that makes sense.
And I think the conversations that we had, maybe 4 or 5 meetings ago, and with you requesting the additional imagery and, things that go along with this really help see the project and see the intent a lot better. So
Right.
if that message is, maybe through staff it was received and is helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right.
Can I ask, so, if we're gonna ask to see this again, could I ask the applicant if they have any more questions for us about exactly what we're looking for the next time, so you nail it the next time?
I don't believe we have any, I don't believe we have any questions. I think I understand what you want, and if you'd like us to revise this and get it back, I think we have time to do that. I'm not super familiar with your process here. I assume we'd resubmit back through staff.
That's right.
Does that mean we would need to come back and re-present?
That is correct, yes.
Yep. So any revised drawings you would just submit to Carter Pettibone, who I think your team's been working with. Corey, if it's okay, I'd like you guys to sort of just outline all of the things you talked about that you'd like them to come back with. So far, I have on the Harps Mill side, extend the retaining wall and plantings along Harps Mill Road and include an outdoor seating area for the use of building occupants. Is that right? Is that prescriptive enough for you guys?
Yeah, and the outdoor seating area is on top of the retaining wall, not
Yep.
below the retaining wall.
Yep.
Yep.
Close to the building.
And extend the canopy trees on the Harps Mill side and the Falls of the Neuse side basically to fill up the entire required amenity area space.
Yeah, and I don't see power line easements on here, but are you able to do canopy trees? On the, inside of the property?
We will look to see if we can fit them inside the property. I do know the power lines are primarily inhibiting the street trees required by the city.
Yeah.
In the right-of-way. We will, I'll have to double check if that also impacts the site.
Looking at the renderings, if those power lines are in the right place in the renderings, it seems like they're out on the street, and so hopefully you can get a couple canopy trees.
Yeah, they're certainly on the street on Falls of Neuse.
Okay.
Harps Mill, it may be tight.
How you doing with that, Charles?
I think we're good. Martha, did you want to request a change to the ash or just leave
Yes.
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's
You have
part
that?
of the city regulations too, so the tree
Okay.
planting was.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Do we need to have a motion, or can we just leave this open?
Not sure about that.
Let's just make a motion that we hold this until
Okay.
the September
September the 2nd is the first meeting. I'm not sure.
16th,
Yep. This is not, the first September meeting is September 2nd.
right?
This is not a quasi judicial case, so I suspect it could go on the 2nd, or you could wait to the second September meeting, which would be the
16th. Yes, I'm
Yep.
suggesting that'll give them time to make any modifications.
just so
Part of the quasi judicial on the 2nd, so it would be this meeting on the September 16th. So my motion would be that we give the applicant some time to make these modifications as Charles has outlined here and the commission, and that we hold this until the September 16th meeting.
Second.
And we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you.
who was the second?
Thank you, you very much. Well,
Okay. For the applicants team, just so you know, the September 16th meeting will be virtual. You'll receive instructions about that. It'll be a WebEx meeting.
thank you very much. All right, now that ends our business portion of the meeting, and we will continue with working group or other business. It was brought to our attention before the meeting that the Legacy project, David Moore has asked to come back at a later meeting, and so we will reschedule that maybe on the same meeting on the 16th. We'll get with him and find out. Do you have anything to report on the Sir Walter Raleigh Awards?
Just very briefly, nominations are open through September 13th. It looks like the city has received a handful of nominations, so definitely need to get the word out on that. If any of the firms you're working with or your own firms have projects you'd like to submit, please do so. The committee meeting is next Thursday at 5 p.m. That will be virtual. Anybody is welcome. It looks like Carter has not finalized the date. I guess at that meeting, that committee will finalize the date, location, and the jury members. And there is a call for designers for the certificate to go out September 1st. And again, the September 2nd meeting will be in person. But after that, indefinitely, the meetings will be virtual. Any questions about any of that?
For the nominations, I'm assuming if you got a handful, that means that all categories need to be tended to.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay.
And if a project is nominated this year and it's not awarded, it can be nominated again the following year. So, yep.
Yeah. Any other questions with Sir Walter Raleigh? Okay, so our next commission meeting will be here as well. I think we're the last one. The first one's back in, the last one's out. But it has been advertised, I believe, so our next meeting on the 2nd will be here. And then they will probably more than likely be virtual. We're just going with a changing tide day by day. So that's that. Really, approval minutes. We didn't have any minutes from before the last meeting, so there's
Corey, just the other thing is the nominations and elections. I don't know if you want
Right.
to talk about doing that tonight or put that off.
So we're a little bit short staffed. We're about half people here. More than welcome if there's anybody that has done any soul searching that wants to throw their name in. We've had a lot of people say they're not too sure this point in time. If not, we can hold it till the next meeting. We can keep holding it off, but
When does
Sorry,
it?
Corey, what do you mean by, we've had some people that say they're not too
so
sure?
there have been several people that have been nominated to be chair and vice chair. Those people have taken themselves out of the nomination. So really, there's nobody that is nominated at this point. If there's anybody that wishes to be the chair or vice chair, if they want to throw their name in, we're happy to consider that now, or we can continue to hold it off till we have a larger group.
Chris, you still had your name in there for vice chair, right?
Yeah, vice chair.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
I took myself off of the chair nomination, but I don't know if there's something we can do. I don't think I can commit to doing a full chair position. I don't know. Yeah, I can't do much more than I'm doing now, but I could do a little bit more.
Is it possible to have co-chairs?
I technically no. I don't, you could speak to Corey about how much responsibility and time this has taken for him, but I suppose you could have a chair and a co-chair and sort of split duties, but informally, but
It would really work better if you had a chair and a vice chair. But, you know, I mean, a lot of the work is done by others. Thank goodness. So it's not a huge task. I mean, there are additional, you know, but it's not a huge ask. And, you know, I'm happy to stay on as chair for a little bit. You know, it's not my goal to stay on. I'm happy to be vice chair if that helps the transition or helps somebody feel more comfort, and I can, you know, because usually the vice chair, Candace has been the vice chair. She's been at every meeting I've been at. She's been involved just as much as I have. So, you know, I'm happy to do kind of the same thing, and stay on as vice chair and give some, if that helps.
Yeah.
So if we push this to the next meeting, because the term was supposed to end September 1st or August 31st, right? I guess it would just keep going until we have those elections.
That's
There's
right. That's
no
right.
issues with bylaws or anything like that.
I don't believe so, from what I've been told.
Okay. I would suggest we push it till the
Yeah.
next meeting too.
Let's push it and maybe we can really talk about it and come up with a solution.
Okay. All right. Any other comment with that? Okay. That's all I have. Is there any other information to report from any of the commission members?
I had a question. What was it? Oh, the next meeting is quasi-judicial.
It is.
Okay. And this is our last non-quasi-judicial meeting. Is that correct?
I don't know. I think
Not necessarily.
I'm looking at you, but I know that you don't know.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. I guess it's not because they're coming back anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. With that, we're done. Thank you all.